We tend to think that being good with money is all about complicated spreadsheets and knowing all the jargon, right? But what if I told you the real key to financial success isn't about how smart you are, but all about how you act?
This quote right here, this is the whole game. It's the big idea from author Morgan Housel that we're going to unpack. It's not about being a Wall Street genius. It's about getting a handle on your own brain, because our own minds are where the real financial battles are won or lost.
All right, so first up, let's talk about your own money map. We have to start here because every single one of us is walking around with a totally unique map of the financial world. It's drawn from our own life, our own experiences. And that map, it explains why the things we do with our money can look absolutely bonkers to someone else.
This is a big one. Nobody is crazy with their money. A choice that looks completely illogical to you might make perfect sense to somebody else. Why? Because their life has taught them a totally different set of lessons about how money works. It really is all about perspective.
So let me give you an example. Imagine you grew up when inflation was sky high. To you, stuffing cash under the mattress feels like holding a melting ice cube. Your gut screams at you to get rid of it, spend it, invest it, anything. But now think about someone who grew up when prices were stable. To them, saving money in a bank account is the safest, most logical thing in the world. And here's the kicker. Neither of them is wrong. They're just playing a different game with a different set of rules.
So the takeaway here is actually pretty huge. Our own personal experience with money, it's just one little sliver of reality. Just getting that is the first step, not just to making better choices for ourselves, but to actually understanding why other people do what they do. Okay, so once we get that everyone's got their own map, it kind of makes you wonder, what does financial success even look like? And that brings us to our next point, the wealth you don't see. Because as it turns out, the most powerful part of building wealth is almost always completely invisible.
When I say Warren Buffett, what do you think of? Genius investor, master of the stock market? And yeah, that's all true, but it's not the whole story. His real secret, the thing that made all the difference, is actually a lot simpler and way more powerful. Get ready for this. Over 90% of Warren Buffett's entire fortune was earned after he turned 65. Let that sink in. His superpower wasn't just being a good investor. It was being a good investor for a really, really long time. His secret weapon was just time.
And this leads us to such a crucial point. We spend all this time and energy trying to find the perfect investment that's going to give us the highest possible returns. But that's not the goal. The real goal is finding a pretty good strategy that you can actually stick with for decades, through all the ups and downs without freaking out. Consistency, my friends, always beats short-term intensity. This brings us to a super important difference. See, being rich is about having a big paycheck. It's visible. It's the fancy car, the huge house. It's the money you spend. But being truly prosperous or wealthy, that's the stuff you don't see. It's the money you didn't spend. It's the investments, the savings, the assets, just quietly sitting there, buying you freedom and options for the future. And that's the great paradox of money, isn't it? The minute you use your money to show other people how rich you are, poof, you have less of it. Real prosperity isn't about impressing your neighbors. It's about building your own independence. So if chasing the highest returns is a trap, and a flashy lifestyle is just a way to lose money, then what are we even aiming for? Well, that brings us to idea number 3. The real goal is just being able to sleep well at night.
A coldly rational strategy might look perfect on a spreadsheet. It squeezes out every last bit of return. But here's the thing, we're not spreadsheets. A simply reasonable strategy is so much better because it accounts for the fact that we're emotional human beings. It's a plan that's designed to help you handle your own fear when the market crashes, so you don't panic and sell everything at the absolute worst time.
So here it is. This is the ultimate test for your financial plan. Forget all the complicated math for a second and just ask yourself this one simple question. If the answer is no, your strategy is broken. I don't care how good it looks on paper.
So how do we actually build a plan that lets us sleep? Well, it comes down to 3 things. 1, you have to define what enough actually means to you. 2, build yourself a margin of error. This is your cushion for when life throws a curveball, and trust me, it will. It's what keeps you from having to sell your investments when times get tough. And 3, always prioritize a reasonable plan that you can actually live with.
And let's circle back to that first step, defining enough, because it's so critical. The world we live in is basically a giant engine for making us feel envious. The second you reach a goal, the goalposts just move further away. You see someone with more, and the race starts all over again. That game of social comparison, you just can't win it, and it is the #1 thing that pushes people to take stupid risks with their money.
All right, this brings us to our final and honestly, our most important point. After all this hard work, after understanding our own psychology, what's the prize? What is the whole point of building wealth in the first place?
It isn't about buying more stuff. It's not about a bigger number on a screen. The single greatest thing that money can buy is control over your own time. It's the ability to decide what you do, when you do it, and who you do it with, for as long as you want to.
I mean, that's it right there. That is the ultimate dividend. That feeling of freedom and autonomy, no fancy car or expensive watch can even come close to that. That's the real end goal. The reason we save and invest in the first place is to buy back our own lives.
And so that's the question I want to leave you with. Go beyond just paying the bills and keeping the lights on. What is your money really for? Is it to chase a version of success that someone else defined, or is it to build a life that gives you real freedom and actual peace of mind? Because your answer to that question, well, it's going to define your entire financial journey.